we're making over my bedroom. Yep, you heard me right. This dump right here was my bedroom. And here it is transformed. You got a glimpse of my bedroom, but that was just the tip of the iceberg. May I present to you my closet, my vanity, and my plant hospital, all surrounding this glorious mountain of dirty clothes. If you're impressed by what you see, wait, there is more underneath the bed. But the room's not that bad. It's just a diamond in the rough that needs some work. Maybe a lot of work. But I mean, there's a lot of space, a sizable window, a lot of other things too, but just no closet, tables, or anything a functioning human needs. I wanted to move the bed to the other side of the room to provide some sense of privacy from the door's direct line of sight. It's still in front of the door, but at least with the way that the door swings, the first thing that's exposed will just be my feet instead. Above the bed, instead of just sticking a piece of art down the center, I wanted to go with something more asymmetrical. I decided to add floating shelves in the corner and add an art piece on the other side. I could have sworn I filmed myself hanging the piece, but it seemingly disappeared into thin air, so we'll just let the stick man do it for me while the real me works on the shelves. So the shelves didn't come with hooks, so I got these frame hooks that go on the back. Attaching these hooks took quite a bit of finessing, and even then they didn't go in fully, but whatever, I'll just settle. Like all rentals in Korea, the walls are wallpapered, so I had to use these 5-pin Daiso hooks, but since they don't sit flush on the wall, I ended up with these tilted, basically useless shelves. Eventually, I figured out that balancing out the bottom with some wood and securing the hooks in place with some string helps stabilize it, drastically reducing the chances that I die in my sleep from getting hit in the head. So that's good. Now that I'm done stocking up the shelves with safety hazards, let's move on to safer things. Like this bedside table with a real instruction set I didn't come up with. When I saw this brand new table on sale online, I scooped it up so fast. I mean, all these curves for less than $20? That's a steal in my books. The downside though is that there isn't any closed storage, so I got these stackable boxes for a couple dollars from Daiso and stained them with some leftover stain I had from before. These fit the sides like a glove and are perfect for storing a few nighttime essentials. To finish up the area, I'm just adding books, a lamp, and of course, a cute little plant. If you haven't guessed by now, I'm going for japandi vibes that tie in with the rest of the apartment, but with a little sprinkling of mid-century modern because I've been slightly brainwashed by all these photos popping up on my feed on social media. Instead of just pinning everything mindlessly like I used to, I now intentionally ask myself why I like a photo and label them accordingly. I'll pop the specific inspo photos for the rest of the room as we go along. Why am I walking around at night with this round thing above my head? Well, I've been on a lookout for a secondhand table like this for a while, and I was on a time crunch to film this video. So when I saw one available, I just went for it. But when I saw the table, I wasn't even sure it would fit through the bus doors or into a taxi either. I mean, I guess I could just try asking the bus driver before getting on. But I don't want to walk the walk of shame in front of all the other passengers. Maybe a taxi? No, I can't risk being rejected and then scolded by a taxi ajushi either. So what do I decide to do to avoid the social embarrassment in front of people who I will never even see again for the rest of my life? I decided to carry it on my back for nearly 3 kilometers on foot and then ride the very brightly lit subway home, which kinda defeated the purpose because a bunch of people stared and there was even a guy who snickered at me the whole ride home. Anyway, 2 hours later, I did get it home, but it wouldn't fit through my front door either, so I had to disassemble the top. She did have a few nicks, however, that I'm just covering up with some white paint. This was the slight sprinkling of mid-century modern I was referring to earlier. This design is called the tulip table and is quite quintessentially mid-century modern. I'm also adding this chair of the same style with its sleek chrome legs, and I think they make a pretty cute couple. In all the inspo photos I had, almost all of them had a lantern. There were so many photos I pinned just because there was a lantern in it. So I knew I had to include at least one lantern in my house somewhere. I thought that this lantern would fit perfectly on top of the bed, but because it was so big, it was kind of overwhelming the area. I was kind of sad because I had the same problem with it in the living room and the kitchen too, which is why it got moved in here. I decided to just think about it as I tied this lantern to the lamp cord. In the meantime, here's a behind-the-scenes look of how I sometimes get footage for you guys. Finally, I just decided to go with my mom's suggestion of putting it above my work area instead. Since I can't put holes in the walls, I'm using sewing pins to hold a cable in place. About a week later, I had 2 very exciting deliveries. I used to dream of a full-sized mirror when I lived in my tiny studio, and I'm so happy that I can finally fit one in this new place.
Oh my god, okay.
And the other delivery I was excited for are these concrete blocks.
Wow.
I never thought I'd be this happy to see bricks, but here we are. But there was kind of a small problem.
Yo, these bricks are so heavy.
But I still love them though. I mean, look at this face of joy and love.
Okay, let's get this. Okay, let me break open the box. Yay! Oh gosh. These up. Oh, wait, what? How does this one lift so easily? Oh gosh, that's so...
These blocks are so flaky though, I was stepping on concrete bits for days after. Now because these were concrete, they were extremely rough, so I'm sticking on these foam thingies to protect the floors. I just realized I never explained why I had concrete blocks shipped to my house. Well, here's a huge hint. Yup, I'm using them as plant stands. Plants around a huge mirror is something I've always wanted to do, and I thought I'd share a little bit on how I arranged them. Shout out to Trisha B1699 for asking me to share. So while staring at my inspo photos, I liked it when plants were arranged at staggered heights, varying sizes, and shapes. I didn't like it when things were the same height, or when the height difference was too big. When it comes to arranging anything, I always plan virtually first. Though you may need to tweak things a little when you actually start arranging, it still gives you an idea of what things will look like before you make those expensive purchase decisions. Oh, and I forgot to mention this, but my closet arrived too. Fully assembled, of course, because this is Korea. Next to my closet, I'm adding this rack for clothes that are worn just once or twice and I'll be wearing again soon. I'm also adding this round mirror here because it felt a little bit empty and you can't really go wrong with reflecting more light in a space. Don't worry, I'm not using an actual marker here. It's an invisible ink marker and the ink disappears when it comes in contact with water. I highly recommend it because it definitely beats using a pencil and an eraser. Between the bed and the rack, I'm just adding this brown rug because why not? And a lot of my items, like my suitcase, is still stashed below my bed, but I couldn't be bothered to tuck the rug underneath, so I just flipped it over. And now we're entering the final stretch. To finish the space up, I'm just adding more framed art and little posters. For my bed sheet, my mom got me this sheet with little leaves printed on them that I think is so cute. So I'm just going green and white for my pillows to match that and the art piece above my head. My quilt is an oatmeal color and it's actually just a cover on top of my old purple one. And with that, it's time to reveal the space.